Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes. Whether the PPT is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So yesterday we saw up to the psychographic segmentation with the lifestyle, personality, and values. How do they matter and how the marketers are imbibing these aspects or attributes into the product categories, and also how they are promoting the product on the basis of these different attributes. The next is the behavioral segmentation. Okay. Uh, Apart from rest of the segmentation, this behavioral segmentation, it's where the buyers are divided into groups on the basis of their knowledge, okay, attitude toward, use of, or response to a product. Many marketers believe that behavioral variables like occasions, benefits, user status, usage rate, loyalty status, buyer readiness stage, and attitude are the best initiating uh, points for constructing market segments. Now, let's have a look at one by one. Now, first and foremost is the occasions. Now, buyers can be distinguished according to the occasions that develop a need to purchase a product or use a product. Now here we take an example of air traveling. People travel for the sake of business, maybe for leisure, vacation, spending time with the families. These are the occasions. So here, uh, an airline can specialize in serving people for whom one of these occasions dominates. Now here you might have observed as and when the vacations are nearing, okay, the advertises, if you see, they start pouring. The messages, you will receive the messages of discounts or offers, okay. Maybe the transportation, maybe the hotel booking, the rush starts. Now here, for example, orange juice, okay, is usually consumed at breakfast. Now here, an orange juice company can try to promote drinking orange juice on any other occasions, maybe in the midday, maybe at the dinner time, at lunch, at parties. Okay. So here they try to promote this. Now, if you have seen Cadbury's, okay, what was the initial segment? The kids. They used to show the small kids, isn't it? Now, if you see the ads, okay, they even shift the behavior to the adults, to the old age people also. During the occasions, maybe prior to Diwali, they show these advertisements. Kya hai? Celebrations package is there. During Raksha Bandhan, they have come up with the package, different variety of products, the chocolates, the, you can say, the gift pouches are there, they are designed. So this is based on the occasions. Now, if you take into consideration the jewelry sector, ornaments, gold jewelries, specifically during the wedding occasions. So how these are reflected? These are reflected through the advertisements to create the awareness, and also the benefits part is also emphasized here. So in this way, the company tries to create occasions nowadays. Okay, occasions is one of the important thing on the basis of which the companies can think of segmentation. Now, if you consider the event management, which is on the rise, okay, this is because of the occasional part, occasions. Now, I have given you an example of cornflakes or oats. Okay, those which they have introduced. Now, replacing our heavy meals at the breakfast time towards a healthier diet. So occasions is the having a lighter breakfast towards the healthy breakfast rather than lighter. The focus is on lighter breakfast or healthier options. That is occasions. Now the company can consider critical events to see whether they are accompanied by certain needs, maybe such as marriage, such as employment, etc. So these are reflected in the promotional medias also through print media or through television media. Also on the FM channels, you will see that most of the time the products they go for promotion on the basis of these occasions. Now the next part is the benefits. Now for occasions you have many examples. Okay, you can quote a number of examples here on the basis of these occasions. When you think of packaging, okay, if you think of large packaging, occasions of celebrations, maybe you have a family get together, that is what is focused. When you think of large sizes of juices bottle, Pepsi Colas, that is the occasions. Or you might have seen the namkeens advertising on the basis of these occasions. Now as far as the benefit is considered, the buyers can be classified according to the benefits whatever they seek, they expect. Now here there are basically four types, okay, which come into this segmentation part as far as the benefits is considered. One part is the economy part, which deals with the monetary availability with the person while purchasing the product. Second is the medicinal benefit. Third is the cosmetic benefit, and fourth is of course the taste. So here on the basis of these four attributes, these benefits can be segmented. Now economy is applicable in each and every product category. On the basis of economy, that is pricing of the product with respect to maybe the content, with respect to the technology imbibed. The more better, the higher is the price. Okay, that is what we usually we perceive. So that is with respect to economics. Um, when we take into consideration the family packs, okay, big size family packs, then the economy is one of the important thing which goes into it. Bulk packaging with a less price. Now, as far as the medicinal benefit is considered, okay, many of the companies they stress on the medicinal benefits. So here, medicinal benefits, maybe you take into consideration the introduction of tea powders, okay, neem, haldi, tulsi, they are all the medicinal benefits. Even your we can say protein powders or the healthy drinks like Complan, Boost, all these are on the basis of this medicinal benefit. So Ayurvedic, on the basis of Ayurveda, if the soaps are introduced, uh, like Chandrika, so they simplify the medicinal benefits. Vico turmeric, again the medicinal benefits. So not only but the cosmetic industry, but wherever we think of the healthier diet options, they are all reflections of the medicinal properties which form the content of the product category. So next is the cosmetic benefit. What is the cosmetic benefit? Maybe somewhere it reflects psychologically a person always thinks in terms of cosmetic benefits. That is the outer look of the product. Not necessarily it may be related to cosmetic products only. Maybe a clothing which suits the personality. Maybe the cosmetic products which give a good look. They come into this category. And the next is the taste. On the basis of taste. So most of the flanker products which are introduced, they are on the basis of this taste. Each benefit seeking group had particular demographic, behavioral and psychographic characteristics. Now, if you take an example of a simple toothpaste, okay, decay prevention seekers, okay, those who are there, they will naturally opt for sensitive toothpastes. While there may be the conservatives, those who may think that it's just the basic necessity and go for any brand. Even while purchasing soaps, one may find that there are a lot of varieties. Now it depends upon the benefits which a user seeks by the usage of the product. The next is the user status. Markets can be segmented into non-users, those who do not use the product at all, ex-users. Maybe the consumers or the customers used to use and they have shifted. Potential users maybe in future, those consumers who will be using the product. They are the potential users. First time users. That is for the first time, some of them, they are going to use the product. And then the regular users of the product. Now here each one of the segment is much more of importance. Now if you consider the non-users, the basic objective is to make them potential users or convert them into potential users. Maybe through demonstration, maybe through product promotion, by offering small packages, sampling of small packages, maybe by giving some discounts. There is a possibility of this converting the non-users into potential users. Ex-users, in that case, one needs to identify why the customers are shifting from our product to the competitive product. Potential users, now here much focus would be on the potential users because this is the segment where major chunk would be converted into the users category. First time users is very important again because for the first time they will be consuming the product and based upon that they develop their own attitude. And regular users of the product. Today, because of cutthroat competition, retention of the customer is very important. The market share leaders will focus on attracting potential users, whereas smaller firms will try to attract current users away from the market leader. So this cycle always goes on. The next is the usage rate. Markets can be segmented into light, medium, and heavy product users. Heavy users are often a small percentage of the market, but account for a high percentage of total consumption. Now here, what do you mean by this? Light, medium, and heavy product users. Many a times the marketers, okay, they try to increase the usage of the product. Suppose if you are using the shampoos, many a times it is written that for the sake of benefit or good result, use maybe twice in a week. isn't it? That is what they signify. For better results, increase the use twice a day, thrice a day. So even they think of increasing this usage rate. Now, loyal status. Consumers have varying degrees of loyalty to specific brands, stores, and other entities. Now, here the buyers can be divided into 4 groups according to brand loyalty status. There are hardcore loyals. Consumers who buy one brand all the time, they are known as hardcore loyals. Amongst you also, there may be few of them, those who do not like to shift to some other products. They are so loyal and so satisfied with the existing products. They are known as hardcore loyals. The other category is the split loyals. Consumers who are loyal to 2 or 3 brands. So maybe if you think of some of the customers, maybe if you take soaps, they change every alternate month or maybe usage as the usage changes. These are known as split loyals. Only they shuffle between 2 or 3 brands, not much more than that. Shifting loyals. So consumers who shift from one brand to the other, they are called as shifting loyals. And finally, there are switchers. Consumers who show no loyalty to any brand. They always switch. Each market consists of different number of 4 types of buyers. A brand loyal market is one with high percentage of hardcore brand loyal buyers. The next is the buyer readiness stage. A market consists of people in different stages of readiness to buy a product. Some are unaware about the product, some are aware of the product, some are informed, some are interested, and some desire the product, and some intend to purchase the product. These are the different categories. So totally unaware of the product, in that case, companies should make them aware about the product, that this is the product is available, what would be the benefits. Some are aware. Maybe those who are aware, they should be informed. And those who are informed, they should be interested. If one gets interested, then ultimately there will be the desire to know more about the product. And then maybe they will think of or develop intentions to purchase the product. The next part is attitude. 5 attitude groups can be found in a market. Okay. The first group is very enthusiastic. You may find people, those who are very much enthusiastic about the product. If the company launches comes up with a new model of mobile, they want to have it. If the company comes up with a two-wheeler, they want to purchase it. That is enthusiastic. The other group is positive. They are not enthusiastic to purchase the product, but they have positive attitude towards the product category. The next group is indifferent. That is totally neither positive, neither negative. They do not comment at all. The next is the negative group. That is totally negative. They are not ready to accept or get convinced unless and until they have the reviews of others. Maybe if there are initiators, those who purchase the product, they use the product, and when they uh, share their feedback, then these people start thinking about the product. So this is about the behavioral segmentation. Now, any doubt as far as this part is considered? Now, this is very important. You expect a question on this basis for segmentation. Hello?
Okay, ma'am. No doubts,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No doubts, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, somehow I think there was some error. Okay. See whether the PPT is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now here, just have first we will have a look at this benefits of segmentation. Now, as I said, as I had discussed that first and foremost thing when the manufacturer started, maybe if you take any product when they start with the mass marketing. That is a single product is manufactured and whole of the masses is the segment. Slowly and steadily what happens, as rightly yesterday I said, that either the supplies are more, that is one reason, or second thing is that maybe now because of the competitors have entered, you want some change in the basic product, and that's why you start coming up with the different flavors, varieties, or flanker products. So here, with the help of this segmentation, one can tap the opportunities. Maybe you take the behavioral segmentation, you take into consideration economic segmentation, or any other segmentation. On the basis of this, you see the gaps in between and try to introduce the product there. So here, uh, this segmentation helps the companies to tap the opportunities in the market. Once these opportunities they notify, then they come up with the particular product and reach to that particular segment. So if you see, if you come up on the economic segmentation, the products with the for the lower middle class and the rich segment, okay, the luxurious product category. So on the basis of this also you can segment. So whenever you are tapping the market of the rich level or the top segment, okay, when you are pricing the product at a very high quantity, then that is only the segment, okay, no need to come down. So while focusing on your promotions also, you stick to those segment. Similarly, when you think of developing an economic product for a middle class or lower middle class income segment, then you stick to only that segment. You are not stretching them to the upper segment. You are not focusing it either. So that's why it helps you to reach only to that particular segment through this product, through this segmentation approach. The next is designing of marketing mix. Now, you come up with the product which is relevant for the particular category of consumers. You have that particular ingredients. Now here I am not speaking necessarily in case of income, the other categories also. If somebody is looking for cosmetic value, I am offering a product like Dove, okay, where I need a cosmetic benefit. If I want somebody who is looking for medicinal benefit, I am offering some soap with the medical ingredient in it. Like we have the Santoor, we have, I gave an example of Chandrika, you may have sandal soaps, okay, all which are linked to medicinal benefit. Something which is related to personality, I gave you yesterday example of Synthol. So here, it helps in designing the marketing mix of the product categories also. The pricings is also done on the basis of the contents. So it helps in uh, coming up with the innovative pricing strategies. Then in case of distribution also, here this segmentation helps in distribution of channels also. Suppose if you have a particular automobile, okay, maybe for the upper class, you may have a different dealer. If you are thinking of a lower segment, you may have a different dealer. So these options are available for the companies in designing the promotion mix also. And as far as the promotion is considered, okay, here also they reflect, as far as the product category is considered, the segment part is considered, through promotional means it is reflected. So that's why we say segmentation also in totality helps to design the marketing mix. Now, customer satisfaction. The ultimate aim today of any manufacturer is to satisfy the customer. Now, when you are offering a product to the customer who is in need of it, who seeks the offering or the product, then naturally he is satisfied with the product. There may be, it may be associated, as I said, with the medicinal benefit or with the status symbol or with the benefit category. So you, in one or the other way, you are satisfying those customers which range into different segment. That is what we say benefits helps in customer satisfaction also. The next is plan strategies for different segments. So here, when we take the different strategies, take up different strategies or plan different strategies, we have the different segments. Now, what are the strategies as far as the marketing goes? Maybe you can think of pricing, maybe you can think of promotional strategies. It refers to only those segments. That is why we say uh, segmentation helps to plan the marketing strategies also. Now the next part is to be useful. Market segments, they must be measurable. Okay, measurable in the sense one should be able to understand the size. What is the size of the market? Whether the people have the purchasing power to purchase the product, and characteristics of the segments can be measured. Now, how can you measure the characteristics? Now, if you consider the insurance segment, you can come up with characteristics. If you think of automobile, you can come up with certain characteristics and then place the product or offer the product into that category. Market segment must be substantial. That is, the segments are large. Okay, when we say we divide the heterogeneous market into homogeneous market, the segments are large and profitable enough to serve. A segment should be largest possible homogeneous group, worth growing with the product designing or tailoring the marketing program. Now here, for example, for an automobile manufacturer to develop cars for people who are shorter than 4 feet, okay, would not be a wise idea. You cannot segment on this because you don't have that much major chunk which comes into this category. So that's why we say this market segments must be substantial. Accessible. The segments can be very effectively reached and served. If they are not accessible, then there is a problem. Differentiable. They also should be differentiable. The segments are conceptually distinguishable and respond differently to different market mix elements and programs. Suppose if you are not placing much of the differentiation, then there will be a problem. There should at least be a thin line between the product portfolios. Actionable. Effective programs can be formulated for attracting and serving the segments. So you should have that much actionable programs to serve a particular market. So these are the essentials of market segment. Now we move on to the next category, that is market targeting, or you can say target marketing. Once the firm has identified its market segment opportunities, it has to decide how many and which ones to target now. First is the evaluating the market segments. In evaluating different market segments, the firm must look at two factors: the segment's overall attractiveness and the company's objectives and resources. These two are important parameters. The firm must ask whether a potential segment has the characteristics that make it generally attractive, such as size, growth, profitability, scale of economies, and low risk. Second, the firm must consider whether investing in the segment makes sense given the firm's objectives and resources. Then comes the part of selecting the market segments. Now, how do you select? So we have 5 patterns here. Now let's see one by one. If you think of single segment concentration, here the company wants to just focus on the single segment. Now here P signifies the product availability, the product offers, and M signifies the markets. The company will select a single segment. Through concentrated marketing, the firm gains strong knowledge of the segment's need and achieves a strong market presence. The firm enjoys operating economies through specializing its production, distribution, and promotion. It captures segment leadership. The firm can earn high return on investments. Now, it also involves more risk. When suddenly if a competitor enters, then you have only one market. Okay, that is the major risk here. Here you also are more dependent on the single market as well as the single product. So here, if you see the examples of this, you may take into consideration the Woodland shoes, okay, which caters to a particular market and a particular segment, the single segment. Mahindra and Mahindra comes up with the tractors. The Zodiac is pioneer as far as the formal shirts for executives and professionals are considered. So here that is the single segment. Only one segment the manufacturer is catering. The next is the selective specialization. Here the firm selects a number of segments, each objectively attractive and appropriate. Now here each segment promises to be a money maker. Okay. Now here you can take into consideration the apparel industry. Maybe for the different age group becomes your market, you are offering different products. Footwear industries. Okay. If you consider a company like Bata, where you have the chappals, the shoes, the sandals, okay, male, female, even the genders are there, of all age group. It also comes into this category. If you take into consideration the car, okay, if M1, M2, M3 is the maybe lower level, mid level, and higher level, and the basis of income, a company like Maruti, okay, offers the product in all the three ranges. Even you can take the competitors, the MNCs like Honda. You think of Volkswagen, they come into this category, selective specialization. So here the term market differs. Okay, it may be a age criteria, it may be the income criteria, it may be the geographic segmentation. If you see the channels, I had given you the channels. Okay, there may be a single company which is offering more than one channels. You may have P1, P2, P3, the products, the service, okay, the channels availability for different age groups, different preferences. So this is selective specialization. If you take into consideration the watches, in that also you will find this selective specialization. If you see the oils, the soaps, they also come into this category. So this is what is selective specialization. One market, one product. The other market, some other product is offered. Third, the other thing. That is what is selective specialization. Now the next is product specialization. Here the firm specializes in making a certain product that it sells to several segments. So the product is single, but it is served to M1, M2, M3. So we say it's a product specialization. Now through this product specialization strategy, the firm builds a strong reputation in the specific product area. Now if you see Johnson & Johnson is one of the pioneers into the baby segment, okay, which caters to the needs of babies. If you think of juices which are offered, that is a product irrespective of any age, income category, they come into this. Even Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, they come into this category, irrespective of age or income or anything else. It caters to the so this is what is product specialization. If you think of microscope manufacturers, okay, they are specialized products which are used by scientific laboratories, maybe government laboratories, medical practitioners. So the product is specialized. You can take into consideration the industrial specialization products like valves, pistons manufacturers, they come into this category. Now here the markets are different. Maybe it's as an input, it may be used in one or the other industry, but the same range is offered. There is no variety or no differentiation. Even the market changes. Then the next part is market specialization. Here the firm concentrates on serving many needs of a particular customer group. The firm gains a strong reputation in serving this customer group and becomes a channel for further products that the customer group could use. Here there is a single market, but the products may differ. Now this is again possible for the industrial goods. If you have the variants of the product, okay, the market is similar, you can focus on that. That is market specialization. The next is the full market coverage. Here the firm attempts to serve all customer groups with all the products they might need. Only very large firms can undertake a full market coverage strategy. So here full market is there. That means different product categories, also different markets. P1 is applicable to M1, P1 is applicable to M3. If you consider the biscuits, okay, a simple and day-to-day example is like biscuits. You may have Parle-G, you may have a Marigold, you may have cream biscuits. Okay, irrespective of age criteria, anyone can consume anything as per their preferences. You may have the automobiles also. P1, P2, P3 offered for 3 markets. You may have the sports car. You may have the luxurious car. You may have just the mid-size segment car. All the market is welcome here. So that is what is full market coverage. Total market coverage here. Now here it depends upon the firm how they go for targeting a particular product. Now if you maybe in the previous session Shilpa ma'am had discussed one example of Tata Nano, and there she had given the example of segmentation. Okay, whether segmentation was the problem for Tata Nano? Yes, they could not segment it properly. Also initially when the McDonald's entered India, segmentation was the problem. The Kellogg's cornflakes also faced the problem with segmentation. They could not segment. They went into this full market coverage strategy, and then realized that it's not possible to enter with the strategy of full market coverage with the flanker products. They need to have the market specialization strategy. So here many are times before deciding on the marketing mix, okay, market segmentation is the initial stage after product development, maybe before product development rather. Through your R&D, you come to know the needs of the customers, into which category they fall. And it's better then only the company thinks of positioning of the product. So any doubts as far as this part is considered? Hello?
No, ma'am.
So in the next session, maybe we will see what are the how is the segmentation done for the industrial goods. Today we will stop here.
Okay, ma'am.